Hi everybody, welcome to my series on prophets and prophecy. I'm so excited about you being here today. Today is a little different. I need your help. I really do need your help. I would like to hear your definition of revival. What is a revival? What is revival? Would you put it in there into the comments so that I can read them, collect this information? I'm doing a little study, a little research, and I want to know what you think revival is. You know, is revival a bunch of people getting saved? Is revival people living better, more perfect? Is revival a long church service? I've heard preachers say, wow, there's such a move of God and revival's going on that our services are 3 hours long. Is a 3-hour long service proof that there is revival? I don't know. Like I said, I'm doing some research and I'd like your help. I need you to put in the comments section your definition of revival. I don't care how long it is. I don't care how short it is. I'm just collecting the information. Now, is revival also going to church 6 to 7 days a week? There have been quite a few revivals in the past. If you're a student of history, you can read about revivals. And a lot of times revivals did have church services every day of the week. Some had it 6 days of the week. Some revivals had church services in the morning and the night. People call revival where they bring in a guest speaker and he or she is ministering 5 nights in a row, and they'll call that a revival. So what really is a revival? And is revival something that is tangible? For an example, more people attending a church service because a lot of people showed up to the service, whether it's a Sunday, Wednesday, or other day during the week. Is that proof that revival? Is a church growing fast proof that there's a revival happening? What is the definition of revival? Right now, there's a lot of prophets prophesying that a revival is either here or coming. What does that mean? Now listen to me real close. Jesus walked in signs and wonders every day of his ministry. It appears by reading in the Bible that John even writes that if you were able to put all that Jesus did into books, the world could not contain them. Was Jesus part of a revival? Was Paul part of a revival? What is a revival? And then why do revivals stop? They'll talk about revivals, and it seems in history, an average revival, revivals lasted about 2 years, and then they would fade away. And what is going on when a revival takes place? So I ask this question. Is revival sinners getting saved or saints waking up? Is revival more people doing what God asked them to do, or just more people getting born again? In a revival, are more people accepting Jesus as Lord because saints are doing what they're supposed to do? So is a revival saints just saying, I want more of God? Now, we're praying for revival. I know churches, many churches across this country and across this globe are praying for a revival, praying for a move of God. So I ask this question, is God stopping the revival? Is God the one saying every now and then in history, I will do something special and there will be a move? Is God in control of the revival? Or should we look at it differently? So I'm going to present a couple things for thought that you might be able to think about. 1 Corinthians 15:34. Awake to righteousness and do not sin. And some do not have the knowledge, for some do not have the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame. But you know what I really want to point out is this awake to righteousness. Awake to righteousness and do not sin. Would that be a good definition of a revival? Where the saints wake up and they do what they're supposed to do. They witness, they visit the sick, they help the poor, they feed the hungry. is awaking to righteousness, awaking to what we were told to do a long time ago. How about in Mark chapter 16, verse 15? And he said to them, Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Now it says this in Matthew chapter 28. It also says, Go therefore and make disciples of all nations. Go and make disciples of all nations. So here's what it says, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. So is God telling us way back then to go, and he never told us to stop? What I'm declaring is, should we already be in revival? Should we as believers just wake up and do what we're supposed to do and do what God has asked us to do? He says that we're supposed to go and teach them to observe all things that Jesus has commanded us. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Going back to Mark 16, and these signs will follow those who believe in my name. They will cast out demons. They will speak with new tongues. So in my name, they'll cast out demons. They'll speak with new tongues. They will take up serpents, and if they drink anything deadly, it will by no means hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick and they will recover. Kind of sounds like revival, doesn't it? It sounds like God has already told us to go into the world, pray for the sick, awake to righteousness, be the church, be full of the Spirit. Isn't that really what revival is? That's a question mark. I'd like to hear your comments. I'd like to know what you're thinking. And, here's in Romans chapter 12, verse 9 through 15, it says, Let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil. Cling to what is good. Kind of sounds like revival. Be kindly affectionate to one another and with brotherly love, in honor, giving preference to one another. Sounds like revival. Not lagging in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Sounds like revival. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing steadfastly in prayer, distributing, I am sorry that I messed it up. Distributing to the needs of the saints, given to hospitality. Sounds like revival. Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Sounds like revival. We do need to pray for revival because there's a lot of sleeping Christians. There's a lot of lukewarm Christians. And revival really isn't focused on the lost, it's focused on the believers to do their job. Once believers do their job, the lost will flock in. They will want to get saved. If we as Christians all over the world simply awoke to righteousness, stopped practicing sin, and started practicing faith, would not revival hit the world? Should there ever be a need to pray for revival? It's a question. Shouldn't we already be there? I'm waiting to hear from you. I would love to hear your comments. Thank you for listening to me today.